Hello, you two. In this video, I am sharing a talk that I gave for the Shred Summit, which is a fundraiser to help refugees buy bikes, because who doesn't need a bike, right? And it really helps refugees. If you want more information, just check it out below in the description. In this talk, I'm telling you the 5 pillars of becoming a successful mountain biker. Then learning versus performance zone, soft skills versus hard skills. Super interesting topic. Just watch it. Here we go.
As you can see on the screen, we do have an amazing guest here with us today. For those of you who don't know her, her name's Roxy, and she's a full-time mountain bike skills coach and mental health trainer for over a decade. She coaches all levels of riders, from beginner to Olympic pros. Roxy, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited to be supporting this really good cause.
Roxy, it's just an absolute pleasure to have you here. There's obviously a lot more to who you are and what you do. And I guess maybe it'd be better coming from you. Like, would you mind just explaining a little bit about your background and, how did you get into mountain biking?
Yeah, of course. Well, I started mountain biking about 13 years ago, and I was a dancer before that. So I was dancing for musical shows, and I hurt my knee, so I couldn't dance anymore. So someone said, "Hey, why don't you go mountain biking?" And I thought, well, I've always liked playing in the dirt, so why not mountain biking? And that's how I started. And I took a skills clinic, and it was a skills clinic he was a really experienced rider. He was really good, but he wasn't really skilled at coaching. So he just said, "Hey, follow me, and speed is your friend. So just follow me and you'll be fine." And so I followed him down this trail, and we were going really fast. And I had a huge crash, and this was my first ride. I just literally fell with my face into a huge rock. I was completely blue. Everyone kept asking me, "Hey, if your husband is beating you, you can do something against it," because that's how I looked. And I was so shocked that I didn't get on the bike for like ages again afterwards. And then I was so scared of riding a bike that I thought, hey, this can't be it, because I really enjoyed it. I mean, it was only like 2 hours until I crashed, but those 2 hours were fun, right? So I was like, I have to do something. So I really started looking into, how does this work? Why am I scared? Why did I crash? How do skills work? Why do we develop fears? And that's how I started delving into this really deep topic of both skills coaching and mental health.
Wow.
And yeah, that's how I started looking into the topic. Then I started taking lots of instructor certifications. And then I went full-time as a coach, because I was like, this is what I want to do. And then I noticed that since I have so many clients who are really fearful, and at one point I noticed, okay, there's like a limit. I can't look into it if I'm not qualified psychologically. So I started taking certifications as a psychological counselor and as a mental coach, and went back to university to do that. And now I combine that. So I combine mental training, psychological counseling with mountain bike skills, or I do it separately. So I have clients, we just work on their psychological side. I have clients just working on skills, but usually everything is interrelated. And that's the amazing thing, that our mind is so powerful. And once we understand how it works, we can really leverage so many different aspects of it.
Wow, that's incredible. Yeah, because you are totally qualified up in multiple different ways there. And the biggest question, I think, or many of the viewers' lips, including mine actually, as a mountain biker myself, is what do you have to like? How do you become a better mountain biker, basically, without a better way of saying it? How do you become a better mountain biker? Yeah,
that's a great question. How do you become a better mountain biker, or a successful mountain biker if you're into racing or whatever? Well, in my eyes, there are 5 pillars of becoming a successful, not only a mountain biker, actually, of becoming successful at any sports, at any activity. And the first one is always the mindset, that you really have to bring the readiness to learn. So you have to become or adapt a beginner's mindset. And a lot of times we go into specific situations with a confirmation bias. So we look for the things we know already. And that is something that really stops us from learning. So actually being able to regress, to progress, having that mindset, having that openness, that is one of the pillars. The second one is strength. So obviously to execute skills, you need to have strength. I have a contact to really good to strength training systems, which are mountain bike specific. If you're interested in them, you can always just send me a message over Instagram. And the third one is the skill itself. So you have to know how the skill is broken down, what are the elements that belong to the skill. And I can really recommend getting professional coaching there, because you can save yourself so much time. When you're just building your skills by yourself, the problem is that usually you start automatizing skills that will lead you down a dead road. You will hit a plateau, and then you have to regress to progress, because that plateau is where you are and you can't progress from there. But if you take a coach straight away, then you can progress much faster. So that was number 3, that was the skill itself. Then we have number 4 is flexibility, because if you're lacking flexibility, then you can't go into your full range of motion, which means you can't execute the skills. So everything, once again, is interrelated. And number 5 is coordination. So you actually have to learn to coordinate your limbs. And if you work on all these 5 pillars or elements, then that is what will make you successful. And that's something a lot of people underestimate. So they work just on skills, or just on strength, or just on endurance, which is part of strength in my eyes, just on their mindset, or they just neglect the mindset aspect completely. But if once you start looking at it in a wholesome fashion, that's when you make huge leaps. And that's when you start to really learn from your mistakes.
Wow. Thank you for that. And I'm just looking at that list thinking, oh my God, I've got some work to do. like mindset then. If you're approaching something and, you're not like sure about, maybe it's a big drop or a jump or whatever, what would you suggest for getting past something like that? Is there a certain way of training your brain or something?
Yeah. Generally, I think what a lot of people underestimate is that our body is often smarter than our brain. So our body often senses when we are not ready to perform a skill. So it gives us the alarm of fear. We sense this alarm as fear. And we always have to know, is this a legitimate fear or is this a mental block? So for example, if I'm scared of, let's say, a 2-meter drop, then I have to be honest to myself and say, hey, do I have the skills? Have I practiced this skill over and over in a controlled environment, meaning in an environment where there's no consequence when it goes wrong? And am I ready to hit this, or am I letting my ego decide whether I'm ready or not? Is it just my ego saying, hey, look, everyone else hit it, so why don't you hit it? Or am I really ready? And if I'm not ready and I'm listening to my ego in that moment, then that's clearly a legitimate fear. But if I know I have the skill, if I've done this like 10, 20 times before, then you can look into this with a mental trainer, for example, or a fear and phobia coach, because sometimes our brain, it links situations that are not really linked. Like we have some kind of trauma from the past that we see in this moment. Or once we've analyzed this and seen, okay, I have the skills, I'm ready to this, then you can actually visualize it and sit down, really visualize yourself doing it, maybe even watch someone else do it. And then sometimes the fear, it just disappears. And then it was just a mental block, and that often helps. I have a lot of tips on this actually also on my YouTube channel, and I have a mindset course, which is called Courage and Confidence Booster. And I go into these topics in more detail because it's always very individual. So it depends on the person, and there's no one fits all solution to this.
Yeah, I think you raised some really, really good points there. And you mentioned like skills plateauing. Is it something else or?
Well, the main reason why I see a lot of advanced riders hit a plateau is because we need to understand how learning actually works, and that we have a learning zone and a performance zone. And a performance zone is when we're focused on doing our best, when we're focused on the execution of a skill, and we perform skills we have already mastered. So errors are minimized. That's our performance zone. Performance zone is great. That's, for example, the zone we are in right now. We practice our skills, we can talk, and we're performing here. We don't want to commit errors. And then there's a different zone, which is called learning zone. In a learning zone, you have the main goal, which is to improve. You focus on improvement. You actually concentrate on your errors, and you concentrate on what's new. So that's, again, the beginner's mindset of what's new, what can I learn here? So errors are actually to be expected, and they are not just an undesired side effect, they're actually a necessity to learn. So you want to produce errors because that's when your brain realizes, okay, I don't want to do this. Neuroplasticity occurs and you learn. And if we don't know there's a learning zone and a performance zone, and we're always just in the performance zone, obviously we're not learning. And that's something that's important to know, because when we're riding trails and we're out there having fun, just going full throttle, that is clearly a performance zone. That's not learning. And once we start actually deliberately going to the learning zone, which means taking ourselves out of performance, riding slower, experimenting, or breaking down the skills into different parts, that's where a coach comes into play, or sessioning a section several times, or deliberately producing errors to learn, that's when we make progress. And that's something a lot of riders don't understand and don't do. They just think, okay, I'm just going to go out and ride, and that's how I'm going to improve. Of course, you do improve to some extent, but you will hit a plateau at some point. Then, so apart from this learning and performance zone, there's one more thing you also need to understand, that there are soft skills and hard skills. So soft skills are high flexibility skills. So many paths, for example, lead to a result. It's about being agile. It's about being interactive. It's about recognizing patterns and making smart and timely choices. So basically, three R's. It's about reading, recognizing, and reacting. This is something you can learn on trail. You ride trails, you increase and improve your soft skills. However, the hard skills on the other side are precise, repeating athletic moves. For example, like a bunny hop, or when you're into trials riding, a back wheel hop drop. So these are, you want to function like a Swiss clock. You want these to be precise, you want these to be automatic, and you want them to be subconscious, so you're not thinking about them. This is about ABC, about always being consistent. That's a hard skill. And when your soft skills are about reading, recognizing, and reacting with a hard skill. So you need the hard skills first in order to actually use the soft skills. And if you're just writing skills, of course, your soft skills will improve, but the hard skills won't, because the hard skills need to be practiced in an environment without stimuli. So, for example, you session a curb on a parking lot and you practice your skills, or you practice your manual front wheel lifts, you practice your bunny hops in an environment where you're not distracted. And you have to have, modern neuroscience says, thousands of repetitions in order for the hard skill to be automatic. And if you don't understand this, so if you don't know learning zone, performance zone, soft skills, hard skills, and you're just riding trails and think, I'll just ride and get better, that's why you plateau. And that's what I see most riders do. So I have a lot of riders who come to me and they say, hey, I've been riding since 30 years. So actually almost longer than I live. And still they notice since about 15 years, they're just on one level and they're not improving. And that's when they need to adapt the beginner's mindset of, I need to regress to progress. And that needs or requires a lot of, well, first of all, you need to be really humble and say, okay, I need to go really regress and start on a parking lot and start with the easy skills to build up my fundamentals, to build a solid foundation, and then to build up my, what I call skills pyramid or skills algorithm, to get to the skills where I really want to get to.
Wow, thank you for sharing all that. there's just such an abundance of knowledge coming through this screen right now, and I just feel like I need to watch all of that again, because I'm gonna have to replay this to really take in everything you're saying. So I guess to round that up, maybe then what people are needing then is a good coach by the sounds of it, a good coach to kind of help them to identify what's going wrong.
It definitely helps. So having a good coach can accelerate your learning journey a lot. And actually nowadays, there are lots of really good online coaching opportunities for mountain bike skills, because the key to success is persistence. So you have to work on skills consistently and ideally at your own pace. And that's what really brings progress. And that's the great thing about online opportunities, especially if you can, as you said, replay them, because when you go to a skills coaching, there's just so much information in such a short time, you just cannot absorb it. It doesn't work. But if you have the video, you can just replay it, and you will hear different things the second time you watch it, and you will hear different things the third time you watch it. And that's exactly the great thing about online coaching, that you can work on it at your own pace and really develop this finesse. And it will accelerate your learning journey so much.
Yeah, great wisdom there. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, I'm not a very good auditory learner, to be honest. So, doing it and watching it back a million times is the way it will work for me. So yeah, good
Definitely.
tip there.
Yeah, especially online coaching. The great thing is you can watch the video over and over, and you can just watch it in slow motion. And if you're at a live coaching, like an in-person coaching, you will just see them perform it once, and no way they can perform it in slow motion. But in a video, yes, you can watch it again and again. And that's why it actually combines different learning types. And that's the great thing.
Indeed. So what would you say are the most common errors that you see mountain bike riders do? Most
common errors actually are errors in the fundamental skills. So the skills that advanced riders think, I don't need to practice these, like a really finely tuned position in the bike. You can change so much of your riding experience, and whether you use a lot of energy or not, whether you have traction or not, by actually just micro movements in your position. Then braking is something I see really crazy things. So once you finally tuned your braking, that's when you start riding safe. And also if you're a racer, that's when you start riding quickly, because you know when and how to brake. And this then leads to cornering. And this also brings me to this skills pyramid I was talking before, that at the bottom of the pyramid is everything that most riders need to learn. And at the top of the pyramid is what most riders want to learn. But just like the pyramid, you need the bottom to get to the top. So in my experience, and that is over 10 years of full-time experience, most riders have the biggest errors in their fundamental skills. And that's what makes them hit a plateau.
Got it. Yeah, good wisdom there. And, I reckon that, I'm sure we have like a range of different viewers, people that are beginners and people that are more experienced watching today. But so you're a coach, you've obviously been on that journey of training to become a coach. And, I reckon there's probably a fair few people watching this now that want to become a coach, or they've at least considered it. Can anybody become a mountain bike coach, or what's the process? Is it I don't know, is it really difficult, or?
Well, anyone can become a mountain bike coach, and actually I'm a believer that anyone can become anything they want to become. The importance is that you have to know that, for me, a really good coach is someone that keeps working on their own abilities, someone that is open to learn themselves. And I always say, take a certification, at least one to start, to get to know the job of a coach. And if it's a good certification, like the ones from the BICP, the Bike Instructor Certification Program, I can really recommend those. Then there will be a clear job description in this coaching certification as well. So you will start to know, hey, is this something I really want to do? And be honest about that. And then take certifications at least once a year. You need to work on your skills. You need to consistently develop your own mindset and your own writing abilities if you really seriously want to convey that to the outside. That, in my opinion, is something really important that you want to keep evolving as well, because only then you can really promote this learning mindset and this beginner's mindset if you keep putting yourself into these situations again. Of course, not only certifications will make you a good coach, there's more to it, but actually being open to take certifications and being able to, and being open to regress, to progress yourself is what you need if you want to pass on this knowledge, because you can't preach what you're not doing yourself. And that's something that I can really recommend, taking coach certifications and regularly working on becoming a better and better coach.
Yeah, I hear you. Is that a global sort of network? Can you be in Europe and the States and kind of everywhere?
Yeah, they have courses everywhere worldwide. And there are several different ones. So I always say, look, don't only take the ones in your country, but actually look what other countries are offering, because even if it's completely different, why should one be wrong and one be right? The more tools you have in your toolbox, the bigger the chance that you'll have the right tool for the job. And that's what I see. Well, I look at mountain bike skills that way, that I say the more mountain bike skills I have, the bigger the chance of having the right tool for the job. And the same applies to teaching skills. So if I have visited different certifications, then I can always look at the different tools they offer me and say, okay, I like this for this client and I'm choosing this tool for this client. And that's what also makes a really good coach, that he doesn't only have this standard program, but he has individualized coaching tools to suit his client's needs. And that's the great thing about taking different certifications.
Indeed. And I think something that's hindered me, should I say, from being a better rider is the fear of falling off, I guess. And what would you suggest? Like, is there like a specific type of system that you'd use to get bail, basically?
Yeah, I do actually have, I think, 2 or 3 YouTube videos on this topic, because I think bailing is a really important topic. Because only if you have like a sheet anchor, if you have a plan B, then your brain will feel comfortable with plan A, because your brain knows, hey, I have some different options. So yes, generally when you're going downhill, you want to bail to the back of your bike. And I have this demonstrated in one of my YouTube videos. And when you're riding uphill, then you want to bail to the front of your bike or to the side of the bike, and this will really keep you safe. Especially if you've automatized the bailing to the back of your bike, you can just ride into a section and say, let me try this out, because I can just stop in the middle, I can bail safely, my bike will be safe, I will be safe. And that gives you really this peace of mind to try out new sections. And as soon as you have that, you will notice that your skills, they really skyrocket, because you have the courage to try out. And I see a lot of riders, they look at a section and say, I don't know, look, that I don't like that down there, but I can't get off there, so I'm just going to push all of it. And that's where it starts. If you stop trying, then that's where you cannot progress. But if you say, hey, I'm safe trying, I can just ride in, I can bail off my bike to the back and I'm safe, then you'll see, okay, today I just rode 2 meters, tomorrow 4, and the next time I've actually ridden the entire section. So being able to bail is such a super important skill.
That's amazing. Yeah, I think even just hearing that just made me feel so much better about trying things. There's nothing worse than you're hitting something and then you're going up a steep hill and you're falling off the back and rolling down the hill or whatever. That's really cool stuff. And I guess people can learn all of that sort of stuff if they work with you, right? And how can people work with you?
Well, I offer in-person coaching, but I also offer online coaching, both in person, so live online coaching, and in German I have an online coaching platform, and I'm an online coach also for RLC online mountain bike coaching, which is Ryan Leach Connection, and we have a really good online coaching community, and I'm one of the coaches there. So if you want a month of free online coaching, then you can also send me a message, because I can send you a link for that. And if you want to work with me in person, then you can send me a message either over Instagram or also over my YouTube channel.
Excellent. And so, yeah, I guess we're kind of coming to the end now, really. I don't know is there anything you'd like to add? Anything, anything at all that we've missed?
Nothing that you've missed, but I really want to tell everyone, just please donate. When I first came to Germany, because I'm originally from Cyprus, and we grew up in a, well, let's say really simple environment. And when we moved to Germany, we didn't have any money at all, and I would have died for a bicycle. So please donate, because a bike can help with so many things. So I'd really like to tell everyone, as you said, listen to your heart. Would you like to have a bike if you couldn't afford one? Yes, definitely. So even if it's just a little amount of money you have, then definitely donate.
Thank you, Roxy. Yeah, I've just loved it. I've loved having this connection with you, this interview with you, and I'm definitely going to watch this back as well, because there's so much stuff that you've said that I've missed, and I need to really ingrain into this skull of mine so I can form it on the trail as such. So thank you so much for being here, and to anybody that hasn't already donated or bought the speaker bundle, the replay bundle, please feel free to do that. And other than that, we'll see you in the next one. So thank you very much, and take care.
Audio Jungle.